Good evening, everyone. You're listening to the Voice of Saskatoon, and I'm your radio host, Rashid Ahmed. What a day today is actually in Saskatchewan. It was pretty hard drive working or coming back from work, and I would just start the show with the safety moment. I would say that drive safe. It's very slippery today. It's black ice, and we got a lot of snow today. So make sure you are driving a little bit slower than normal. If you're going on the highway, uh, maybe like go for 60 or 70 at the speed because that will be normal today. And also, I want to thank our highways worker and City of Saskatoon worker who are trying to clean our roads and making everyone's life safe. So thank you for all your hard work and dedication in this tough weather. Without any delay, we will start our show now, and we do have two wonderful guests from Career Loans, and they will be talking about their program. And when I talked with Candace about this program, I was very impressed. I wish I know this program when I was immigrant and newcomer, so that I can be enrolled too. So yeah, if you have any questions, you can send us in the comment section, and we will try to answer those questions. If not, we can provide that feedback to our organizers for career loans, and they will be happy to answer you. So yeah, without any further delay, so I will start introducing our first guest, Candice Fox. She's the outreach consultant for career loans in Saskatchewan, and yeah, she can talk about a little bit in detail about her work and role. But before that, I will go to the next guest, and her name is Cheryl Murray, and she's actually joining us from Ontario. So thank you, Cheryl, for joining us all the way from Ontario, and we are looking forward to hear more. And Cheryl is actually information and financial counselor for a career loan in Saskatchewan. So, Cheryl, I will start from you. Tell us a little bit about your role and what you do for career loans.
Well, thank you, Rashid. My role is called Information and Financial Counselor with the Career Loans Program. Um, I deal specifically with internationally trained individuals who are living and residing in Saskatchewan. Our program is completely virtual, so that gives me the tool to reach those clients that are living in Saskatchewan. So my role is basically doing career counseling for those individuals that are seeking to get back into their desired occupation in Saskatchewan, and I work very closely with Candace.
Well, thank you, Cheryl. And Candice, tell us a little bit about your role in career loan, what you
Yeah,
do.
so so Cheryl and I often tag team on stuff like this. And even though she's not in Saskatoon, she's a surrogate Saskatoonian. I sort of joke so.
Yeah.
But my role as the outreach consultant is really just to create, opportunities like this where Cheryl and I can come and just talk about the program. And often, Rashid, we hear what you just said. People saying, "Oh, I wish I would have known about this program, 4 years, 5 years ago." So we're just trying to spread the word as far as we possibly can. Um, yeah, across the province. So I do stuff like this, but I also do weekly information sessions on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So if people aren't sick of Cheryl and I today, they can hear me talk about this information all over again. Actually, tonight I'll be doing one, and next week as well.
So, when you're talking about information sessions, so how people can listen to you or watch that program?
Yeah, so basically, people can just come and listen to the information. There's no obligation to register for the program, but I just give them, the details of the program, and ask them a little bit more about themselves. It's pretty intimate settings. It's not like we have, tons of people showing up. So it's an opportunity for them to learn about the program, and then obviously for us to learn a little bit about them and why they're accessing the program. And then it's really great because I can take that information and then transfer it on to Cheryl, and then she's got a body of knowledge to connect with clients. So we try to make it really personable and just get to know them so that it feels less like a program and more like a support team.
So the info session, Rashid, is basically a free event that we post on Eventbrite. So if anyone's looking for it, they can find it on Eventbrite through the career loan. So that's how they can get in touch with that information session that Candice puts on.
Awesome. Thank you for the clarification. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about Career Loan. Like tell us about your organization, how it was started, or like what you do.
Yeah. Do
Go,
you want me to?
go ahead, Candice. We're tag teaming. You start and I'll
right.
get it done. Yeah.
Cheryl's so great because she always fills in the gaps for me because I always forget like the major points. But basically, this program is completely free and virtual. This is a pilot program. We've been up and running since April of 2019. And I just want to say we're not virtual because of COVID. We were already virtual before that. So this wasn't a response to the pandemic. We just, I think there was a need for this program to be accessible to internationally trained newcomers. So they don't have to go anywhere. They can access this program 24/7 from the comfort of their home. Right. And basically, what we try to do is support internationally trained newcomers who are in Saskatchewan or Alberta, get back into their preferred career path, choose an alternative career, and then get the supports like the one-on-one counseling with Cheryl, as well as a micro loan. One of the big things, I think one of the big barriers for newcomers when they come to Saskatchewan is just access to funds and financial supports to, do the bridge training, upgradation, the accreditation process, which Cheryl really helps our clients with. So we're trying to remove those barriers so that we don't have, such highly skilled individuals, working in, the quote unquote, the survivor jobs.
And it's amazing because, like you said, I'm in Ontario. Our program is coordinated by an organization called Achieve. It's a nonprofit organization. We've been doing this service or community services, services for individuals that are employment, newcomers for over 30 years. So it's coordinated by them. However, this particular program, the Career Loans Program, is specifically designed for international trained newcomers that are living in Saskatchewan and Alberta. And Candice said it beautifully. We were COVID proof before COVID even started. So everything is virtual. We try to make it as easy as possible for individuals that are new in the country, that are internationally trained, that are either permanent residents, Canadian citizens, or convention refugees, and they are looking, when they come to a country, it is so difficult and challenging in getting back into their career of choice that they had so much expectations with, right? So many of them end up in survival jobs and get stuck. And this service is there to help motivate them, encourage them, guide them through the different process that they may not be aware of, how to get to the desired career. And of course, with career exploration, there's always the sense of financial assistance that may be needed to go back to school or get your paperwork accredited or even joining associations. So then that is the second part of the program, which is a microloan.
Well, this is amazing. Like I'm so eager to learn more about this program. And my wife is a newcomer. So if she want to pursue any career, I will definitely refer your organization to her. And I think that will
Yes.
be a good help for her. So yeah, and I
We
believe
actually.
Yeah,
sorry,
ahead.
Rashid. I wanted to say this because you just brought up your wife. We actually have a mandate to support 50% women. So bring your wife on over.
Awesome.
We will, we
Yes.
are all for, getting newcomer women back into their preferred career path because we know our communities are built with strong women in the homes and in their career. So that's awesome.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So do you have any specific fees for the appointment? Like anyone can come and visit you, like how the appointment works if they like I know like it's virtually, how they can register themselves.
That's completely done. Yeah. So if they visit our website, www.careerloans.ca, once they land on that main page, it'll actually prompt them, are you from Saskatchewan or Alberta? And then you click on the Saskatchewan, and there's a really just a quick form. They fill that out, and once they fill that out, they are pretty much sent over to Cheryl. She's given the information, and then she will connect with the individuals. There's absolutely no fee involved in any of this. And if individuals choose to do the free career and financial counseling, there's no obligation to take out the microloan. Those are completely separate. So there are lots of clients of Cheryl's that don't access the microloan, and then there are some that do. So it's completely individual. But our application process is really, really simple. So we've made that on purpose because we don't want people filling out form after form after form. That's confusing. So it's really slick.
Awesome.
And even if they do get stuck with it, they can just reach out because there's a 1-800 number. My direct number is on there. If they need help, there's quick. It goes quickly. If they just type something in, it'll come directly to us and we can help them fill that form out. And like Candace said, it's very simple, so it's easy access. Once they register, it automatically comes to my desktop and I go through the whole form. I accept it, or if they're not, or I give them a call. And usually I follow up, give them a call and see where we are able to, schedule a time for them that's appropriate to talk. One of the things that I recognize, Rashid, is that many people, Canadians, new Canadians, don't realize that there is a service as career counseling. They don't access that free service that's available to them. And sometimes, just like if you go to the bank or if you go to the doctor, you want to get some professional advice of where to go if you're diagnosed with something. So why not your career? If you're unsure, you have all this thing in your head, to speak about it, make a plan, make a roadmap how you're going to get there. That was a really interesting information that I found, that many people don't access career counseling, and the fact that it's free, it's available, and as newcomers, there are so many different government funded programs that's available to them. Why not?
Yeah, definitely. And I think we are lucky in Saskatoon. We do have many non-profit organizations, and I went there for my career advice, and similarly my family too. And I think that's a great wording you have shared. Like career counseling is so important for newcomers, new Canadians as well. So tell us, like what does the career loans program aim to do?
Well, I think one of the things primarily is to provide information to newcomers, right? Like they come into Saskatchewan, and let's be honest, they might not have all the information prior to arriving. They've probably done their research. I know I was talking to a newcomer who was in the financial sector, and they were looking up information out of Ottawa and out of Toronto because they thought that it was blanket information. Whatever was required there was required everywhere else. And so I think just informing individuals, like, the accreditation process might be different in Saskatchewan than in other provinces. Our sectors are different. We've got, some industries that are booming in this province that, aren't so booming in others, and vice versa. And so just giving them the sort of, I guess, lay of the land as to what their options are, because, oftentimes they don't know that. If they are looking at being in Saskatchewan as, a new adventure and to start over, maybe they want to do a different career and they don't realize that they have the option and and programs like career loans, like our program, that will support them and help them, pivoting into a new career. So I think that is primarily number one, is just giving them that information, because I think that's freeing and very empowering for the clients.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So Cheryl, who does this program support?
Well, like I was saying before, we are supporting ITIs, that's internationally trained newcomers, with an immigration status of permanent residents, Canadian citizens, or convention refugee, and newcomers, meaning that they've been in the country, doesn't matter how early, but as much as 10 years. That is considered a newcomer, because individuals think, oh, I've been here 5 years, I won't be qualified. Yes, you do. You know, and individuals that are in regulated and non-regulated occupations. We run the gamut of supporting everyone that is necessary in Saskatchewan and Alberta.
Oh, that's awesome. I was thinking like 5 years is a newcomer, so that's
Yeah.
good to know. Like 10 years. So yeah, like if somebody is new, like in the category for newcomer, they can reach out to career loans.
Absolutely. And a lot of people think if they're Canadian citizens, they won't be able to access the service as well. But we do cater to newcomer Canadian citizens as well.
Awesome. So what are the requirements to register for this program?
So, like Cheryl said, so they need to be a permanent resident, Canadian citizen, or a convention refugee residing in Saskatchewan and Alberta. I know we get a lot of people who aren't quite here yet. They're on their way, and unfortunately, we cannot support them until they're actually here. So you have to be on the ground in Saskatchewan or Alberta. And like Cheryl said, be a professional or have had some career back home. So some training, we're not going to be able to support, an individual who is a newcomer who was just in university and wants to continue their university career here. That's not what we're aiming to do. And they have to have a convention or a Canadian language benchmark of a level 5. And that's really for the educational component. Most programs at the U of S, U of R, Sask Polytechnic, you need about a 6 or higher to be registered in those programs. So we're just sending that little nudge, like, practice your English, get going on that. So yeah, those are the primary requirements to register.
Is there any age requirement?
No,
that's a good question.
That is a good question. I was thinking, well, like Candice just mentioned, the service is not specifically designed for university or international students. That's one of the big questions that we get asked a lot of times. It is for just individuals that have had some schooling back home, wherever their home were. And had some career experience back home. I know individuals have contacted me that have only had some high school or youth, and then they're looking to get back into a university here. Unfortunately, the program is not for those individuals. However, in saying that too, Rashid, they can access the career counseling portion of our program, not so much the financial assistance.
Okay, thank you. And how can internationally trained newcomer access career loans?
So again, we're virtual. So like wherever they are in Saskatchewan and Alberta, if they're up north, if they're south, if they're in a big center or a small center, as long as they have some sort of internet connection, they will find us. And just to accommodate individuals who might not have access to internet continuously or consistently, Cheryl is really great at adapting to their communication needs. So, if they're primarily using WhatsApp or, like if they do virtual or if they do over the phone. So, if they don't have a consistent internet access, that's okay. We can figure that out. But like I said, completely virtual. So 24/7, they can check out information if they're laying in bed at 2 a.m. wanting to learn something about a sector in Saskatchewan. We've got information for them.
Oh, that's
all on the
amazing.
website.
Oh yeah, we've got tons and tons of really great webinars from guest speakers that we have each month. That I do want to encourage people to register just for the free content, to be honest with you. The past few months, we've had the banking sector. I think in December, we got leadership. Cheryl?
In
Is that
December, we have leadership.
okay?
In December, we have actually success stories, and
Yes,
we're
yes, yes.
highlighting a very successful lawyer that's been in the country by 5 years. So just speaking about how you can actually adapt and how you can make it happen. You really can. We've also had industry leaders in the supply chain, engineering, IT. So what we try to do is to collaborate and partner and have guest speakers that can cater to the clientels that we have. And we deal with many engineers, healthcare, um, different sectors. Supply chain is a big one, even truck
Truck
driving.
driving. Yeah.
So yes.
Awesome. And I think you have talked about a little bit in the beginning, but how does this program support newcomer women?
Yeah, so I think, there are lots of, programs out there that, cater to sort of, the blanket, the newcomers, but we really want to focus too on supporting women newcomers. There are some additional barriers for newcomer women to get back into their profession. And a big one is just family, right? Especially if they're in a situation where their husband has a job here, they traveled here for that job that the husband got, and now the woman is sort of in transition, trying to get the family unit together. And so we really want to make sure that we are supporting at least 50% newcomer women and helping them also get back into their preferred career path, because there is mental health, emotional health ramifications for people not doing what they love. So we want to try to eliminate that.
Awesome, thank you. What is the minimum and maximum amount of micro loan? Because I think that will be the most important question from the audience.
Yes. So the minimum amount that someone can access through our microloan program is $1,500, and the maximum amount is 15,000.
Wow.
So that is available. It's not mandatory, but once a client is with the career loan program and they say, you know what, now that I've explored a little bit more about the direction that I want to go into, um, I think I probably need to go back and get some up training, or I need to register with an association because I'm in a regulatory body. I need to get a membership or get my paperwork accredited. So we guide them through all the microloan application process. And what we do, Rashid, is that as the career counselor for that client, we gather all the necessary verification documents from that client. So we prepare all of the information together, so they never have to deal with the bank itself. We work with a bank. We're partnered with the bank HSBC, so they're the one that disperses the funds to the clients. So we gather all of the information, the verification document, and we actually sit down and build a relationship with our clients, because we want to be able to, with integrity, and I'll speak for myself, to craft a letter of recommendation on my client's behalf. So their application will be favorable through the bank. And once we get all of that verification documents together, what we do is we send those off to the bank manager. And then the bank manager will assign a financial advisor for our clients. And then I would do an e-introduction to the client. So they never have to leave their home for all of this process. It's just done for them. And then we introduce them, and then they work together to finalize the application.
Well, looks like you are fully prepared for this COVID-19 pandemic. So
Oh, I'm
nobody,
telling you. Yeah.
yeah, it's like everything is at home, so you can do everything from your home. That's a good thing. So, what are the payment terms for the micro loan which they will be receiving?
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
so once the individual goes through that process with Cheryl, they figure out exactly what amount they need. There is a little bit of like a grace period of a month, but then they have to start paying back the loan right away. And I do want to mention that the interest rate of the microloan is fixed. It's prime plus, or sorry, HSBC prime plus 2%. Which is 4.45%. And the benefit to clients is they know what their monthly payment is going to be every month. So no matter what the economy is doing, no matter if we're, doing good or not doing so great, clients know what to expect. So they pay depending on how much they take out. That obviously will change the duration of how long they have to pay the microloan back. But they know each month. And Cheryl, I'll probably get her to speak to this because she says it so eloquently. But individuals who have loans, student loans, like that's sort of looming on your back when you're done school, right? And so I love how Cheryl has put it, because I've heard her speak about this, and it just makes so much sense. You're paying down that loan while you're going to school. And so in 2 years, 3 years, maybe 4 years, you're out of debt and you don't have to worry about that. Whereas with student loans, you're sort of accumulating that. And then once you're, done school, you might have to pay back that debt for 5 to 10 years. Yeah. So the maximum that you have to pay back the loan is 4 years. But we really see it as a benefit to clients rather than, something they should be scared about.
And I just wanted to add something to that, Rashid. For the $15,000, that's the maximum. There is a period of 4 years to pay that back. However, many individuals don't actually need $15,000, depending, like doctors, yes. But, it depends on how much they need. So the maximum repayment period is 4 years, but that all depends on how much you borrow, right? What I was talking about with the student loans, the thing about student loans, and that's, many people say, well, can I get the loan and then go to school and then pay back afterwards? This is a bank loan. And as a bank loan instructs us that once you get the loan, you start paying back. So payback is 30 days after you've been dispersed with the money. And the benefit of that is, with a student loan, I don't know about you, but I have had several student loans, and this is one of the biggest debt that many Canadians carry with them, even after, say, 10 years after they've left school. They still have a student loan because it is at market value, and it fluctuates. Our interest rate is fixed. It never changes. The economy could change, but once you locked into that prime +2, it is yours till the end of your repayment period. What happens with this type of bank loan is the fact that you are required to start paying back 30 days afterwards. But look at it this way. You will be able to, first of all, you need to be employed. You need to have some income coming in to qualify, to be eligible for this loan. However, we are flexible with that. We do take into consideration the family income. So the wife could be working, husband could not, or vice versa. We take into consideration the family income. So that will qualify you for applying for this loan. We also take into consideration other things that may be considered as income, such as your child tax or something like that, part-time jobs. Those are considered income. So that helps support your application. With that said, Rashid, when a client is now working at some capacity, have accessed this loan and are going to school, what that does, and then they have to start paying back, is the fact that you've invested in yourself at this point. Because once you finish the program or the course or whatever it is that you're training to do, you're coming out with a higher market value, right? And if you think about it, if you have developed now the habit of repayment, your financial literacy is now intact, that you are able and more secure to start handling your finances a little better because you've actually saw this through. So by the time you get out of your program, your expenses or your debt, which is good debt, is pretty much at its lowest point, and you're ready to increase your market value. So it's a win-win.
Yeah, definitely. I
See,
do
she
have.
makes it sound so much better than me. Like I should for now on, I'm not going to answer that question. I'm going straight to Cheryl because she, like, give her a microphone and preach it because she just does such a great job at that. So that's your
It just
question for
makes
now on.
sense.
Yeah,
Thank you,
yeah,
Candice.
thank
This
you.
makes sense.
So the next question is like, what sort of cost would be covered by the microloan? And I think you have covered a little bit about, like the loans, but if you want to elaborate on that, like where people can get the loans.
And I'll take this one, Candice.
Yes.
Um, the costs usually are like it's everyone is unique, Rashid, in their training. So we may have a family that may need some additional cost. They may claim not just the books and the program fees or exam fees or training fees, but we may be able, and it, like I said, it's an individual thing. I would encourage them to talk to their counselor, me, and then we can figure out what it is that we need to cover. But in all fairness, I can say it's flexible. I work with the individuals in what they need. I've had families who have claimed for maybe babysitting or daycare or traveling, and we can also incorporate those kind of um, household things into that expense.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for sharing a lot of information about career loan, and it's about to end, but I will ask you like any final words from both of you if you want to share anything.
I would just say, and Cheryl has already mentioned this, this is an investment in yourself. And not many people get the opportunity to have someone like Cheryl with all of her expertise, helping you one on one. And I joke, I say this in every single one of my information sessions. I wish, I would have had this. Heck, I wish that I would still have this right now because, we all evolve and grow, right? And so, we've done, it's normal now to do a couple of career changes. So I would just recommend everyone, even if you think that, you want to stay in, get back into that a career that you established back home, connect with Cheryl and just learn about what your options are. That accreditation process, it is tricky for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Get support. Don't assume, don't go on the internet and let that overwhelm you. Just get the help, get the support, and it'll be that much more quicker and slicker for sure.
And in addition to that, I would say, Rashid, many newcomers are either reserved because of language, reserved because they don't want to rock the boat or make any disturbance. But what I would encourage them to do is to be vulnerable, to reach out, to ask questions, to speak as much as they can, even if English is not your first language, is to continue just pushing yourself and getting out of your comfort zone to speak to individual. Talk and network. Nobody is judging you. It's all up here. We are here to support and also try and access as much services as you can, because I encourage my client to spread a really big net. So all the services, even if it's not relevant right now, one day you may be sitting around and something happens and you're like, oh, I forgot I was a part of that. And here's an opportunity for me. So spread a big net and then just get as much information as you can.
Well, thank you so much, Cheryl and Candice, for your time. And yeah, as I mentioned earlier, if I know about this program, so maybe my education or route will be totally different as I have today. So, as you mentioned, Cheryl, like we have to just throw the net out and get more information, because as we are newcomer, we need more information so that we can grow our career. And yeah, so it's a great program. So if you want to learn more about career loans, there is a website coming on the screen, so which is www.careerloans.ca, and you can contact with Candice and Cheryl from the website, and they have their number there. So thank you again, both of you, for your time and sharing information.
Thank you for
Thank
having such a
you.
great show and inviting us on and letting us share the space with you. So, yeah, we really appreciate it.
For sure.